This can't all be true.
Hello everybody, it's the After Party, just Lucien here today with a very quick Mission Impossible The Final Reckoning trailer reaction. We have our second and, I suppose, final-ish trailer for the movie, which is out in just over a month, which is insane to think of. It's out in May, and this trailer is just something else. Really has a lot more to get me excited than the previous trailer did, although I enjoyed that too. It's really incredible how they keep finding new ways to make the Lalo Schiffer and Mission Impossible themes sound fucking class in trailers. I'm not normally a big sucker for epic trailer versions of songs, but Jesus Christ, it's incredible. Gonna do a quick run through of what we see in this trailer because it's fucking stupendous. If you want to hear Shane's thoughts on the trailer, I'm sure we'll touch upon it briefly on this week's episode of the show, which is going to be talking about Tom and Nicole, of course, in Eyes Wide Shut. Trailer starts with our little biplane chase, the yellow and red planes in South Africa. It looks incredible. We hear voiceover, how can all this be true? And we basically are brought to a meeting between President, played by Angela Bassett, Holt McElhaney is now in the room, Nick Offerman. These are both new additions for this movie. And then we have our returning characters from the last movie, Mark Gatiss and, of course, Henry Czerny. And they're basically kind of giving a little update on Ethan Hunt's most noteworthy crimes in the field of work. So we, of course, have the break-in in the first Mission Impossible. We have the Kremlin bombing in Ghost Protocol. We get to see little snippets of this. And then we have the last movie's opening scene being relitigated where he dresses up as the guy with the cool mask and gasses everybody in a similar meeting room and then takes off the mask and reveals himself to Kittredge. And Nick Offerman seems a little perplexed by why Ethan Hunt continues to be accommodated by the US government, but of course he is reminded that it is necessary to work with Ethan Hunt in order to save the world, as we all know. Very cool footage then of Angela Bassett as the president, which is just really great. And we got protest, rioty type, protest scenes going on outside of the building. Shea Wiggum gets a line, which is nice. We see some footage of the snowy location and Ethan underwater, Ethan with the second half of the key for the Sevastopol, and this is when things really pick up, is like about a minute into the trailer is when we start to see a bit more new stuff. Smart people on every side are close to panicking is Ethan's first line, and it's clear that we're like on the verge of a serious sort of nuclear incident, I imagine, as a result of the Sevastopol being taken charge by the entity. Hannah Waddingham shows up here as another military-looking type character. And then we have the phenomenal first appearance of the great Tremel Tillmans from Severance. This is Mr. Milchek, of course. He's in this movie, and he is right up and close in Ethan's face, just like we like to see Tremel in Severance, asking, what exactly is your plan? He's got so much presence. He's such a great actor. I've only seen him in Severance and in one other movie he was in, this college romance comedy with Kiernan Shipka that I cannot even remember the name of right now, but he's really good in that as well. But he's just got so much presence. Now, whether he's able to like do a performance here that is sufficiently distinct from Milchek that the average viewer doesn't just kind of get caught, pulled out of the Mission Impossible reality into Severance, hopefully, but he looks so fucking cool. He's got such a great mustache. He's such a handsome and cool guy. Then we get to see the whole gang. We got Ethan, we got Haley Atwell, we got Plum Clementieff, and the boys opening up a big sort of, I'm going to call this like the entity chat machine. I don't know. This is something similar to what we saw Esai Morales' character sort of checking into in the previous movie, where he was on the train, if you remember. He is lying down in like a kind of a sunbed with a mask on his face that seems to be some sort of, people were speculating it was like, a hibernation chamber or like a hiding place, but ultimately I think it is like the way to log in and communicate with the entity face to face. So Ethan is basically putting himself into this thing, puts this mask over his face, these like restraints tighten around his wrists, and then you basically see all of this flashing imagery shown to him that is obviously the entity kind of communicating with Ethan visually about everything it knows about Ethan and about this work he's doing. I don't know. It looks fucking insane. Then we have Esai Morales saying your team has been betrayed. We have a cool fight scene with Ethan and Haley Atwell dressed up very formal in black tie. Obviously at some sort of fancy event, and they're doing a little knife fight. Ethan running around a lot of streets and alleyways in London, which we always love to see, even though he's been back to London a few times at this point. Big explosion out in the ice. This is obviously some submarine action. They're tying in again here footage from the original first Mission Impossible De Palma movie of Ethan with the knife, which he obviously still has from the Langley break-in. And there's a shot of him looking at his old ID. There's a shot from the Burj Khalifa scene from Ghost Protocol, which has a match cut with him in the helicopter scene in Fallout. So they're trying to tie in footage. And then a shot from Mission 3. So they're trying to tie in all of these shots from the different movies to obviously paint a picture to the viewer at home that this is a climactic story in the Ethan Hunt saga. But it makes me so happy to see them celebrate these beautiful scenes from these previous movies and just fucking, get to see this footage again on a cinema screen from these movies I love so much is so much fun. We have a lot of similar shots from the teaser trailer here of Ethan and Haley Atwell, Ethan and Benji, putting their heads up against each other in this real, we're all going to die kind of way. Then there's this great moment of a helicarrier, and someone says, you gave him a aircraft carrier. Holt McElhaney says that, which is funny and kind of metatextual, because obviously we know that Tom Cruise had to basically hold Paramount hostage to get a submarine that he could shoot this movie on. It's fun that the characters within the movie talk about Ethan Hunt the way that we in the Tom Cruise fandom talk about his relationship with the studio. I don't know. And Ethan is seen then jumping off of this aircraft carrier into the water in an insane shot that was not in the previous trailer, with just water splashing on the lens, and it looks unbelievable. Then he's running across Westminster Bridge. He's underwater in a scuba suit doing some submarine business. He's back in the yellow plane. A lot of footage here we saw in the previous trailer. Then we see a bunch of missiles launching, 3 or 4 visible in that shot, big looking missile things. Obviously we've seen missiles launched in the Mission Impossible movies before, and everything has ended okay because Ethan finds a way to save the day, but we'll have to see what happens here. And I'm trying to see what else we got here. Beautiful moment with Ving Rhames, saying he's never given up and lost faith, and neither should Ethan. And then just a bunch of fights and stuff, action stuff cut really quickly. And then we have that same final shot of Ethan looking straight into the camera and saying, I need to trust me one last time. And then the title comes up. That's the trailer, folks. May 23rd. I mean, they just really are giving us the goods here. But I feel like they're still holding back important elements of this movie. And that's such a nice treat. I think that there's bits of this we haven't seen yet. I mean, I have no sense of what the running time is going to be. Is it going to be as long as the previous movie, which was close to 3 hours? Is it going to be even longer? I don't know. Regardless, I will be there opening day or sooner. If I can get access to see the movie sooner, I will take it. I put out a new poster as well today, which is a shot of Ethan hanging off the yellow plane. Very similar to what was on the cover of Empire magazine a couple months ago, but still cool, and has giant Mission Impossible in giant letters. Just really, I think, trying to grab people's attention with, the basics, the essentials of what this movie's going to offer. Maybe with the sense that the Dead Reckoning Part 1 marketing was a little bit... there's a bit too much going on. I think there was too many faces on the poster. There was not enough focus on big, exciting stunts the way that the other movies have really highlighted. And I think that this trailer and this poster and this whole marketing campaign is look at these cool little planes. I think the cool little planes are going to pull in a lot of people, especially Top Gun fans as well. So that's my little recap of Mission Impossible The Final Reckoning new trailer. Shane and I will, of course, be talking about Eyes Wide Shut on this week's episode of the show, which drops tomorrow. We'll also be discussing Mission Impossible The Final Reckoning on the show in full once it's released at the end of May. So tune in at the end of May for that episode, which I'm sure will be a whole lot of fun. We might do some more Mission Impossible themed stuff between now and then. Who's to say? But yeah, tune into the show tomorrow for Eyes Wide Shut, and thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.